Premier is here. Premier Heating and Air is offering rebates starting at $1,000 with the purchase of a new heating and air system. Upgrade your system before the summer heat is here. Premier Heating and Air offering free Wi-Fi thermostats included with the purchase of a heating and air system. And now pay just $89 for a system checkup. Experience the Premier difference today. Or log on to dublin.premierishere.com. Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company.
All right, welcome to the show today. I'm so happy to have my good friend with me, Miss Katie Andrews. And Katie, thank you for joining us today.
So glad to be here.
Robbins Financial Credit Union, and you guys are here on Hillcrest.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about just the credit union in general and some things that you guys are able to do there, some technology, some cyber, some hiring, all sorts of things. But before we get into any of that, we may have some folks in our community here that haven't met you or haven't been in to your branch. And so if you would, take a few minutes and maybe just start from late school or early work career. Tell me how you started your work career. Did you start out in financial services or kind of what did that look like? And just a little bit about you.
Okay, sure. I actually started in the financial industry in 1990.
Okay.
And was got a job at a little small credit union. I tell my tellers now, I begged for $5.50 an hour.
Wow.
I had my degree is in business administration, but I moved away and was back. And anyway, just started as a teller, actually getting into financial industry. And hard work and right place at the right time, I just kind of grew through there and got some opportunities with that position to move into a lending role and then into a management role, and stayed there a long time in management. Kind of made some changes over the years. Got out of credit unions for a little bit, but it was just where my heart was, and there's just a difference. And in 2016 probably, it's funny, I was thinking about this interview, and you may not even realize this, but when Robbins decided to break ground here, Malia reached out to me via Messenger and said, Robbins is looking for some good people, and you came to my mind. And that's kind of how I even made the contact with Robbins, that they were looking for some management stuff. And so 2017, we built the branch here, and I've been here since then.
So I remember walking over and doing the ribbon cutting and even the groundbreaking before they began construction here, and you guys have certainly flourished here in this community. I know you have branches in other locations. You went straight into just the work, and tell me, Katie, I want to know, and people watching, tell us a little bit about you.
So grew up here since I was 10.
Okay.
I'm pretty much from here. Married a guy from Eastman. His name is Sam, and he's a former Marine and a retired state trooper, so that did take us away for just a little bit. He's from Eastman, and we settled in Cattle. I have 3 children, grown children, and 2 sweet grandbabies that earlier this year moved back to Lawrence County, so I get to see them a whole lot. My mother's still alive and lives on the east side of the county. Went to East Lawrence to school and to Middle Georgia College for college. Okay.
And so you are the manager at our local branch here. So I'm thinking, I hope I'm correct in this, maybe it's a little bit of an assumption, that as far as hiring or anything like that goes, most all of those types of decisions would come through you at the branch. Katie, as the manager here, what are you looking for if someone is coming into Robbins to apply? What do you need, and what types of credentials, what types of personalities or work ethic are you looking for?
So yes, I do the hiring, and Robbins is very member focused, so that is one of the qualities that credit unions just care about your members. So one of the first things we look for is somebody who has that customer service, member service understanding, and a strong work ethic. You know, we need you to come to work. That's probably one of the things that we struggle with this day and time, is the commitment to come every day, come on time, and be committed, to the institution. That's probably our biggest thing. It's helpful if they've had some experience in cash handling and that kind of stuff, but we'll train them in that if they're looking for a teller position. That's generally our entry-level position as a teller.
Okay.
In our locations, we work with tellers and then what we call member service representatives. And those representatives are able to help you. The concept is that Heath might come in to open an account with us, and you kind of build a relationship. You can open a savings, a checking, certificates, whatever you want, but we're also going to talk about that car you may be driving that we want to try to help you refinance. So you build that relationship with that member service representative who can handle everything from new accounts to the lending platform.
Okay. So you guys, checking, savings, any type of financial services, or and I really don't know, do you do like small business loans and things like that as well?
We do. Glad you brought that up, because I was thinking, getting ready for today, what people probably know and don't know about credit unions, because I think most of the communities know credit unions do car loans, or they do savings accounts or checking accounts, but we're full service. And several years ago, we bought a bank, we merged with the bank, but part of that was to take on have a bigger presence in our commercial lending department. And that's what a lot of places don't realize that we do, is that we have a very aggressive commercial lending business platform. So you can finance everybody. I know they tell stories. We've done some airplanes. We've done a mobile pet clinic that's out.
Okay.
So just all avenues of it. That part people probably don't understand. And then mortgage loans. We do a whole lot of mortgage loans. We have a really strong mortgage department that has a wide variety of options available, from construction all the way up to your permanent financing.
Okay. And I may have financed a car or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 with you guys, but
Thank you.
other than and I haven't even thought about this, so I want to ask this question and make sure that people understand, because you mentioned a key word just a minute ago, members. You guys have members at the credit union. How does someone become a member of the credit union?
So a little history for those who might not know. Credit unions were generally formed by a pool of like-minded people. Robbins was Air Force Base employees who pooled their money together and then loaned it out to each other as needed. That's kind of the concept, and that's grown from that. But they were members. And through the years, the expansion has happened so that now with Robbins, we serve, I think, 42 counties. So if you live or work in one of those counties, you're eligible for membership. And then if you're eligible and you have a family member, they become eligible as well. So it kind of opened us up to pretty much finding a way to make you a member.
Okay. So
our members do. They're shareholders, so we don't have a board of directors that is earning profits off of what we make. We pay our profits, what we make, back to our members. And so you have a voting right. Every member has a voting right in a credit union.
Okay.
We have a volunteer board of directors.
A volunteer board of directors, and how many people are on that board of directors?
Oh gosh, I don't know exactly.
Okay.
Probably 10 or 12.
Okay, and so you
They're
mentioned
elected
if
by
you
the
live
membership.
in the community, and that is a requirement, then you need to live in the community. So if you
Live or work.
live outside or work outside and no one from your family's in that community, then that would keep you from being a member of
It
that
could.
particular
It could.
credit union.
But we serve 42 counties, so that's pretty much
Pretty
takes in
good.
everybody.
Pretty good coverage around
Pretty good
here.
coverage.
Katie, I want to take a really, really quick commercial break, and then we've got a lot more things we're going to get into discuss, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Tom Dominy. Here at W. Nelson, we pride ourselves on providing the industry's highest quality products at the most competitive pricing. We are a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry, and we can answer your questions and help you get the parts and equipment you need. From mowing to Renee, we carry the plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products you need from the brands you trust. We also carry a great lineup of Milwaukee tools. At W. Nelson, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment, doing things right, one customer at a time. If you have a question or if you're looking for a hard-to-find part, give us a call. Our experts are ready to help. Order online, give us a call, or come by at 507 Airport Road in Dublin. We're committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day.
Hi, this is Meg Greer Evans with Middle Georgia Estate Planning, and just welcoming you to give us a call at the office if you have any questions about long-term care, whether that be a trust or a will. We could also help you with a power of attorney or health care directive, and with long-term care needs for special needs individuals. We're here to help. Give us a call at 478-272-2885 or visit our website at www.middlegaestate-planning.com.
Welcome back to the show. Katie, thank you again for taking time out of your, sure, you're busy. I ride by and see you guys, seems like your parking lot's always full over there. Want to ask you a few more questions and talk about the credit union here and something that's very important to us, especially here at the Chamber, is your support and your sponsorships and different things that you guys do in the community. And I know, whether it's reading through a magazine or whatever else it may be, I see advertisements and things like that. You guys do a tremendous job of supporting, I'm sure, all the communities that you're in, but let's talk a little bit more specific about around the Lawrence County area and how and why you guys give back in your communities.
Well, part of our mission statement is community proud, and we do actively try to find ways to be in the communities that we are serving. This year, and this is not so much about the community proud, other than volunteers, we've got this huge effort that we have committed to a certain number of volunteer hours, just us out, staff out doing them in each one of our communities. But we're always willing to look at opportunities to sponsor events, or we just recently finished where nonprofits could apply for an annual donation that helps support them, and we've given away a lot of money there in our communities. I know we have several organizations here that have gotten some of that money every year that helps them keep their businesses going and that kind of thing. We also actively sponsor the membership drive, the Chamber membership drive. We love being that presenting sponsor that gets the word out about us, but also supports.
I think a lot of folks, around October or so, they're pretty excited to see you out there on the back lawn at the Chamber giving away $500 cash.
Right.
That's pretty, but not just those, again, not just the monetary investments, but I know I served on another board in a local community facility here that I think you still may serve on that board. And having people, I think you guys have an ambassador with us now, and so not just the money that goes back into the community, but yes, the service hours and things such as that. Katie, something else that's really important, and I've been talking to some of the folks interviewing in any type of financial services lately, is security. Talk to me about Robbins and how you guys view security and what types of either programs or technology that you guys have in place to make sure people feel comfortable and certain that they know they're getting the best protection they can.
And I don't work in IT, so I probably won't say the right terms, but just know that we take it very seriously, and that from the standpoint of just accessing accounts without needs, we don't do that, or allowing emails and that kind of thing to come in that it's monitored very closely. We don't send out information with your account number and that kind of thing on it. Our IT department has filters in place that actively, aggressively seek to protect your information.
Okay, and as far as credit unions themselves, do you see more credit unions and new credit unions and growth and expansions in the next 3, 5, 10 years? Do you think that technology is going to impact you guys, and if so, how do you see, maybe looking into your crystal ball, and just 3 to 5 years from now, where do you see credit unions and more specifically Robbins?
I think you will see larger credit unions like Robbins. you won't see the startup of new credit unions,
Okay.
probably. You know, you may see some of the smaller credit unions that can't keep up with the technology and the services merge in with some of the larger credit unions. So you probably see some of the larger ones like us become larger because
Okay.
we are equipped to kind of cover the technology that people want in their day-to-day financial interactions, but also to protect their information. I'll say for Robbins, we have 24 locations, and we're adding one in Eastman that will be finished at the end of this year. So we're still very much brick and mortar.
Yeah.
You know, we still believe that we want you to come in and see us. And so you won't see us downsizing buildings and that kind of stuff. You'll see us continue to grow and expand in those areas where we feel like we're needed most. Eastman's we're all excited about Eastman.
Yeah.
And that group of people that make the commute and all are too.
Well, and for us here, I'd like to look at from the chamber perspective, anytime our region is growing,
Yeah.
we all benefit from that. So that's exciting news. Katie, just an average day, and you go home 5:36, whatever time it is in the evening. What's on your mind? What if I don't want to say necessarily that you're worried about, but you're thinking about probably more so than anything else. To do with the credit union? What would be, if there is something that keeps you up at night, what would that be?
From my position as the manager, I do deal with a lot of employee and the workforce.
Okay.
Finding people that are serious about coming to work, and it's changed since the days that you went and you stayed somewhere forever and ever.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen any longer. But from that standpoint, that's probably one of my biggest challenges is keeping people there to serve our members. I mean, we're very, we're member facing, so we got to have people there to work, and people have a lot going on in their lives these days, and I have to try to remember that sometimes, that they have a lot outside of their work.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
getting back to where work is important.
And I hope this is okay and or fair to ask. I don't know a more kind way or different to ask, but do you feel like you guys have a good offering for someone if they're looking for a potential career in financial services or bank loans or whatever? What are some things that maybe help set you apart from others, or might entice somebody to say, I've got 2 or 3 options here. I think Robbins is going to be my choice.
Yes, we have a fantastic program. First of all, it's very fair compensation.
Okay.
Benefits. We offer a benefit package that is probably second to none, with insurance, 401ks that we match. That grows as you commit to us. The percentage that we are willing to match grows as well. All kinds of extra employee programs that allow you to do computer purchases or go back to school, and we pay for part of your tuition if it's affiliated with our field. Lots of programs that support the employee, less pay time off, good times. And then the biggest thing is the opportunity to advance. And I will say that's sometimes different than your community banking type environments, is because you may, and I said I started as a teller and I moved through. That's kind of a credit union philosophy, is we're going to give you the opportunity to move up first.
Okay.
And so most of the member service, with the exception of one member service rep that I have, they all started on the teller line and went through the training and grew and to move. So we're going to always give you those advancement opportunities. And then we have 24 branches, so and a main office that's in Warner Robins. So there's lots of opportunities if you didn't mind leaving the location, to even do support departments, human resources,
That's awesome.
those kind of things.
Yeah.
Can always give you those opportunities to grow with us.
Fantastic. Katie, what if someone's watching the show today, and whether it be a 20-year-old or a 40-year-old, you've been doing this for a while. What would a CEO or a manager or title, but a lesson learned, maybe that could help somebody who's looking at a financial career, something in this particular type of industry? What's something maybe that you've learned in your career, whether it be from a leadership position or just purely, to do with the day-to-day operations? What could you share with somebody to maybe help them in their journey?
don't know if lesson learned, but well, I'd first say, take a position and give it all you got. Give it all you got. That's not so much now what people do, but give it all you got and people will watch and see that you can grow. You can grow and advance. Lesson learned, I've learned in managing people, and as you got to have a measure of grace with interacting with people. With members, you got to hear stories. Everybody's got a story, and sometimes you just need to be able to listen to the story and do the best you can, whether it's for an employee or we all get very self-focused sometimes. Sometimes you got to just care about the person that you're helping.
Could not agree more. I try as best I can to always think this person sitting across from me, what did their day look like? What are they going through? And where can we help them? Or how can we help them?
When I interviewed for this job, one of the people that was interviewing me said, "What's your business plan for Dublin? What's your business plan for Dublin?" I don't know what my business plan is for Dublin. I said, "You know what? I'm going to go take care of those members, and that'll take care of our business plan." And someone on our board of directors, I was repeating that to him, and he said, "I'll just make an adjustment to that. You go take care of your employees, who will then take care of your members, and you'll have a successful business plan."
That's right.
And that's the truth.
I think that, and going back to you briefly alluded to, but giving your best. Maybe that's not the position that you desire to work in all of your days. So many people today, and I hate to say this, they want the money up front, and then they want to show you or tell you, well, I can do the work, but you need to give me the money. And it still just doesn't work that way. You got to prove yourself worthy and show what you can do. One of the things they teach us when we go to Chamber Institute School, whether you're the front door person or the back office person or the membership, whatever it is, if you desire to be a president and CEO, then you dress like a CEO, you walk, you talk, and you act like a CEO until you can get into that position.
Right,
So,
that's exactly
so
right.
along those lines, and people and culture, talk to me about the culture at Robbins. What's it like to be a member of the team at Robbins?
It's fun, but it's also stressful. We're busy, and you mentioned, we're busy. We're busy. Our lobbies and our parking lots are always full, and that's because we serve everybody. There's not just one element of society that we serve, and you have to be ready for that. But in our environment, we're going to provide you with the benefits and the pay and that kind of thing. We're going to support you there, but we're also going to do lots of team building, and we huddle regularly to talk about different things that may be going on, so that you know that your voice is heard. We have a good time in our office. We're busy, but we also have a good time and try to do fun things that keep us energized to endure those Mondays and Fridays when it's so crazy.
Well, and I think those things are certainly important to be able to do. I think we need to take one more commercial break, and then we'll come back and wrap things up.
I didn't choose this line of work. It chose me. Those days when it seems impossible to get everything done are the days I live for. It's my passion. If you do what you're passionate about every day, you'll never work a day in your life.
Hi, I'm Greg Carter with Shamrock Honda Kawasaki CF Moto. Come check out our full lineup of ATVs, side-by-sides, and motorcycles. We serve Dublin, Lawrence, and Central Georgia areas, and we'd love to serve you.
The Houston Clinic is located in the heart of Dublin, in close proximity to Fairview Park Hospital. Dr. Gay and Dr. Richter utilize state-of-the-art equipment and the most up-to-date treatment available today. The Houston Clinic conveniently offers on-site physical therapy. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So call for an appointment today at 478-353-1166. Dr. Gay and Dr. Richter look forward to serving you at the Houston Clinic of Dublin, 100 Medical Drive, Suite 400. The Houston Clinic, providing state-of-the-art care closer to home.
Welcome back to the show, Katie. Thank you again. Well, I'm learning some interesting things. Credit unions have changed. They've evolved and grown over the years. I remember When I was little, my mother was we were up in Augusta, and it was Gracewood Credit Union. And I think back then you had to work for a state agency or something to be a part of that credit union. It wasn't as simple as, well, we live in the community or have a family member. So glad to see that has changed. I'm sure that's increased your deposits, your revenue, your membership, and all those sorts of things. But one of the things that's always amazed me, and I mentioned earlier on the show, and I don't mind saying, I do a lot of business with all of our banks here in town. I'm glad they all play well together and fit well together, and everybody works. You mentioned the event that we do out back, and you just see a team of people always working together. You guys kill it on auto loans, and like I said, I've done several loans with you myself, so I know. And I've even called you before if I had a loan and refinanced with you guys. Talk to me about that.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. That is a program, the refinance is a program that actually we're actively in that season now. We call it Rowdy Rate season. And it is the opportunity for us to try to actively, if you have your vehicle financed with someone else, try to move that loan to Robbins and save you some money. When you mention about auto loans are kind of what people know credit unions for, is really what we're known for. And the short version of how we're able to do that is that the way credit unions are structured is, I mentioned, we don't have a group of stockholders that earn our profits or anything. We're not for profit. So we take what we make from business and we give it back to our members. And that can be in the form of lower rates on auto loans, better rates on certificates. Robbins is the only place I've ever worked that has, for recent years, done what we call a member rebate. That basically says thank you for your loyalty, and we pay back to our members in the form of a member rebate. Will that always happen? I don't know, but it has for several years. So that's how we offer those lower rates.
All right, I want to ask you, I've heard of that one before. So a member rebate, so does that have to do with the amount of money that you've spent or borrowed or your activity, or does everybody get the same amount, or what does that look like?
And I don't know the formula, but
Okay.
it's based on on length of time
Okay.
of membership, types of accounts you have.
We have
and
folks all over Lawrence County now running
are
over
running
to
to
see you
get us,
today
yeah.
and get signed up. So
there's some criteria, but it's basically, it says thank you for making us your financial partner. And yeah, does it make a difference if you just do a savings account with a little bit of money, or you have savings and checking and auto loans? Those are the kind of things that would play into it. So there are some criteria, but that's just Robbins' way of paying back to our members. So those lower rates that you see on auto loans, that's how we do it, is that we choose to give back to our members in those forms. Rowdy Rates is going on right now. We do it April, May, and June. Really focus on it. Best rate right now on a refinance, the very lowest rate is as low as 4.25 on 60 months, which is a pretty good competitive rate right now. So I'd say, if you have a vehicle, know somebody that has one financed elsewhere, let us take a look at it for sure. But we do all kinds of loans as well, everything from your personal loans to boats and motorcycles and campers, and all the way up, then we already mentioned mortgage loans and commercial lending.
okay, and I know from a bank standpoint and some other interviews and shows that I've done with some folks, I asked this question, but I want to see if it's the same with the credit union. But when people are borrowing money from you, the importance of a credit score and a good, healthy credit score. What are you guys looking for in a credit score? Is there a kind of a medium line
People
there,
giving you-
or
have
better?
people giving you
Well,
scores?
so I'll tell you, kind of, and I was a little surprised because I was at somewhere the other night, and I heard a young man bragging to his father about his credit score and the number that he announced. I thought, wow, I don't think I would be happy at all if that were my credit score. I was taught from an early age, your credit is your worthiness, and it tells who you are, and just my grandfather used to talk to us a lot about not overextending your credit and being good financial stewards. And I don't know that some people today understand when they come in to see you and they say, well, Heath got a 2.4%, but mine was 5%. Why was that? So just talk to me a little bit about the credit score and what a good credit score is to get the best possible rate versus maybe where you might have to pay a higher rate.
So credit scores do make a difference. They determine your interest rate, typically. With us currently, if your score's over 740, then you're going to get our very best rates.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that if you're a 680 or a 700, you're not still getting a really fair rate. We don't really have a minimum. I wouldn't say that, you know, that we would necessarily turn away. You really probably want to be mid-sixes to get, you know, some of the best stuff. I will say one thing that I take pride in it, us being member-focused and all, because that is one of the other avenues is it's not necessarily just a no. If you come to us and if you've got that history with us, you've always done your checking with us, and you've always done loans with us, and then life happened, there's a good chance we're still going to try to help you.
Okay.
And those are kind of differences in credit unions than sometimes your bigger banks, that they don't, you know, take the time to say, well, maybe I can't do this right now, but I can do this to try to find an opportunity, or we're going to talk to you about your credit. We do kind of a financial review that says, well, I can't do this right now, but if you'll go work on this, this, and this, then let's talk in 6 months. And you'll be amazed how many people come back in 6 months that say, hey, okay, now I got that cleared up, and their scores improved.
Sure.
So that kind of gives you.
Yeah. And Katie, I want to ask you too, because Robbins is just pretty large, and you mentioned all the different counties, and I can't imagine how many employees and or members that you guys have. But one thing I know that we have here in Lawrence County is if I need to see Katie and I need to talk to the manager, you're available. You're there in the office and I can come and see you. So it's still that local hometown feel. Is that throughout Robbins, or are we just blessed that we have you here with us in Lawrence County?
That's throughout Robbins. I mentioned, you know, we're adding Eastman, so another another brick and mortar. We're very much about being in our communities. Now, we want to provide you the technology that if you don't want to come in, you don't have to, but we recognize, and many of our members still want that face-to-face interaction. So you see that across the board at Robbins.
And even if not coming in, and you know me, I don't know how many times I've called you and said, hey, I'm considering something. Right. Can you just shoot me a quick number or something, or let me know where I'm at on that? So that's very convenient to have and appreciated as well. Again, I want to say thank you from the chamber, not just for you and you being you, and I know how much you give back in the community and you serve on different boards and capacities and things like that, but thank you guys for investing, for providing jobs, and all that you do here in our community. And now I want you to take just a minute to look into your camera and just tell folks whether they're considering a future employment or maybe a loan of some sort, why you guys would be their choice.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to tell you that we do have a teller position open right now.
Oh, how about that?
I would love to have some interested applicants go in and apply. You can look at Robbins Financial, look at robbinsfcu.org, and that's where we post our career openings every Wednesday. So we'd love to do that. But Robbins is very member focused, and I've mentioned that several times, but it's important to us, and it relays in everything that we do. I was speaking to someone the other day who heard that our Eastman branch was opening, and he was talking about maybe how some struggles in the other financial institutions in Eastman might do them in for us to go to Eastman. And he said, I've never gone into a Robbins branch and people didn't act like they wanted to help me. And that should be what you get every time you go in. And you have some bad days possibly, but we want to help you. And we want to do everything from that savings to a checking to your certificates and investments to IRAs, and then loan you money. And we're going to try to loan you money at the best rate we possibly can to help you save and earn more money. That's kind of our purpose. Is we don't make a loan just to be making a loan. We want to develop that relationship with you, help you truly make a difference. So love for you to come by at 1102 Hillcrest Parkway. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and we would love to see you.
Hey, thank you for your time today. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you. Thank you for helping us make today and every day a great day for business in Dublin and Lawrence County.